tonight about a deadly encounter outside a business in Montgomery County this weekend. The owner of that business is behind bars tonight, charged with murder. Action News reporter Brianna Smith joins us live from Hatboro with new surveillance video and information about the victim. Brianna.
Walter, police say the two men had problems in the past. In fact, officers responded to that same area 3 times before for verbal disputes between the two, and they told the men to avoid contact with each other. But police say on Saturday, the suspect ended their argument by shooting the father of one. Denise Costello heard those 7 gunshots just feet away from her Tiano Hair and Beauty Salon in Hatboro on Saturday evening.
Oh, it was crazy. It was crazy because you don't expect that here.
The Montgomery County District Attorney's Office charged 41-year-old Maurice Byrd with first-degree murder and related offenses for 37-year-old Stephen Strasburg in the parking lot outside his shop.
That's a little scary. You get a little shaken up.
The criminal complaint states Byrd owns Razor Reese's Salon and Spa on North York Road, and Strasburg lives on the 2nd floor of the building. Investigators say Byrd called 911 saying Strasburg was verbally assaulting him with racial slurs. Byrd says then Strasburg grabbed his shirt and pulled his arm back like he was going to punch him. That's when Byrd fired 5 shots, paused, and then 2 more shots while still on the phone with the dispatcher. Jay McCollum, who owns Sky Blue Piercing next door, ran outside to help.
I just kind of went into panic mode. I saw somebody bleeding. I've got a shop filled with, things that can take care of that. And so I just ran and grabbed a handful of gauze, ran out and just held it on the wound on his face and just waited there until the police came.
Witnesses told detectives Strasburg was the instigator and charged at Byrd. Residents just wish their problems could have been resolved.
I think it's terrible. I think that nobody should have to go through any of that.
I just feel really bad. It was a horrible situation. Obviously, it didn't need to happen. And, my heart goes out to the guy, so it's really unfortunate.
And Strasburg's family says he was a hardworking man and the rock of their family. Now, police say Strasburg did not have a weapon on him at the time of the shooting, and Byrd has a license to carry. Byrd is currently being held in the Montgomery County Jail.
All right. Peace and blessings. All praises to the Most High. You just saw one of the news videos about Maurice Byrd Jr., who was arrested for taking the life of Stephen Strasburg in self-defense in Hatboro, Pennsylvania. He was jailed, had to go to trial, and fortunately for us, one of the few times that the Stand Your Ground law actually worked, it worked. So in late March of this year, Mr. Byrd was found not guilty on all charges. So I am happy to have him here. I'm going to bring him on stage, but also I thank y'all for tuning in. A lot of people asked about him during his time, wondering how they could support him. So I want to thank you all who did offer help. But without further ado, I'm going to bring Mr. Byrd Jr. into the studio, and there he is. How you doing, my brother?
All right, how you doing? Thank you for bringing me on today.
Pretty good, pretty good. I was just telling the people, of course, I showed one of the news videos about your situation. A lot of people know about the situation, but before we get into the situation, I definitely want to give people a little bit, about who you are outside of that news clip, because I think you told me one time that, you watched the news clip or you read the news and you didn't really like how they was trying to portray you in the news, right?
Yeah, it was rough. It was rough coming home and seeing some of their earlier news clips. Some people have since made better articles, but it was rough seeing all of that from the beginning.
All right. And so for once again, y'all who don't know, this is Maurice Byrd, who was charged last year. I forgot what did they all charge you with?
First degree murder and third degree murder and possession of an instrument of crime.
Okay. And you stayed in jail from when to when? From like July?
Yeah, from June to basically April.
Okay. Then you had what was it, a 3-day trial or 4-day trial?
4-day trial. It was 4 days. I thought it was going to go longer.
Okay. I'm just getting into, man. So how did you feel when they read the verdict, man? I'm gonna get back to who you are in a minute, but how did you feel? Because I gotta know, because I've been through that situation before. So how did you feel when they read that verdict of not guilty?
Well, I was in what was called a bullpen. It's interesting how you compare a human being inside of a cage to a sports idea, but they call it the bullpen. So this is a holding area. So before they reached the verdict, which was 6 hours of deliberation, I was in the bullpen, mind just racing, thinking of all the possibilities that it could be, thinking of everything that I thought we left on the table in terms of our defense, thinking about things that the prosecution offered that, was against the truth of the evidence in order to, strengthen their case. So there was a lot. And also before, I didn't want them to pull the jury. There's something called pull the jury, where if there's like an outburst or a heightened show of expression towards a verdict, whether it's good or not good. So I wanted to try to keep my reaction at a minimum. It was a shame because if there's one or a few moments that you have in life where you want to jump for joy and scream to the rafters, that's certainly one of them. But I felt vindicated.
Okay.
I felt through all of the hours, all of the minutes, all of the seconds that I sat in jail thinking about this case, all of the hours on the law library, all of the conversations with the librarian, all of the external research. It just let me know that I was seeing things the way that justice was seeing things. So
yes.
It's a vindication and a happiness.
Okay, so now let's start, I guess, from the beginning, and not so much the beginning. I guess the beginning of before this happened. So when this happened. Okay, now I gotta show this. I gotta show this picture though. You tell me what's going on right there. Is that after the verdict, or is that after the verdict, or what?
That's certainly after the verdict, and I was still trying to be in my calm, cool, collected mode. When he grabbed me, he was just like, and they caught me in the middle of saying something, and it looks like I'm just smiling with utter jubilation. So, I mean, they were happy too. So everyone was happy, but, I was trying to internalize it. Pretty much, once I left, I don't need to celebrate because, everybody wasn't exactly happy about it.
Okay. All right. So you had to, okay.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's just the right thing to do. It's the human thing to do. You shouldn't, jump for joy. I didn't even and somebody's family is sitting right there feeling like they may not have received the longest end of the stick. So,
So before this happened, right? So I know your bio a little bit. You was actually the owner of Razor Reese's Barbering Salon. So that was your entrepreneurship. But also you told me, and I didn't know this, you have, you've been to school, you have a few degrees, and you also serve in the military, right?
Yes. So,
I guess, so how did you get from the military to degrees and the barbering? Like how what's your life going before this incident, and how did you, kind of navigate your way through life to be so successful, basically?
Well, I really appreciate that. Because I didn't have nothing else to do. But in all actuality, so I was in the military, and one of the things that we talked about in the military was, like, before you leave the military, you should have a plan. This is like a big thing. And I'm pretty sure even today, 20 years later, it's still the same way, where once you leave the military, you should have a plan. First, it's not always the best decision to leave. So you have to really go into a process of evaluating your life and seeing if this is the time actually to move forward and try a different career path. So I was at that point where I wanted a little more stability, because, I had gone on 2 tours and you're in the field every other month, and sometimes it's for weeks, and you're not showering, and then you get the politic of included. And the fact that I was hurt. So
okay,
I wanted to go to warrant officer school. A warrant officer is like an officer, but different. It's a specialized person, specialized field that only answers to the colonel. So it's pretty much the HNI, whatever you want to call it.
Okay, HNI. So you didn't? Yeah. Did you go, or you chose to get out?
But once I got hurt, the decision was kind of chosen for me. So I couldn't do the things that I wanted to do, and warrant school wouldn't take me there. So I was already in school anyway. I remember in Afghanistan, we were on a convoy, and I had my school book in the back. So whenever we landed to a place where we actually was going to get some Wi-Fi, I was completing tests. I was doing homework. Education was always important to me, and it was always important to my platoon leaders. So I was always taking classes the minute I got there. But, getting deployed kind of interrupted some of those degrees. But once I had the chance to actually fully go after it, I went after it. There's sometimes a few moments in life where you have the chance to go after what you really want to go after, where there's nothing stopping you. And that was just one of those moments. So I had a buddy of mine. He got out before, and he went to barber school. And I had another friend down south. He ended up getting out. He didn't deploy with us. And he went to barber school, and he used to send me pictures of cash just all over every place, and money in every single pocket. So I'm thinking, once I finish with school and get out of the military, I'm going to need to generate some income. So I said, maybe I can get a trade, and at that point, I would be able to generate income while I'm still increasing my education formally. So I started cutting hair, and I stayed in school. Once I got done with one degree, I got my AA degree, I just felt like I wasn't tired. So I had the means, I had the ability, and I had the free time. So I went to get my bachelor's. And once that was done, I was like, hell, I'm already here. And I had to kind of talk the lady into it.
Okay.
So I got a little extra resource, and I was able to get my MBA. So at that point, I was working in corporate, and I was on the West Coast. I didn't. So
I didn't know about this part of the story. So you was actually working in the corporate world. What were you doing?
Yes. Well, I was a project manager. So on one, I was on a construction project, and another one, I was on a medical supply project. So I had about 6 different sites around the country. The good thing is I got to go visit them.
Okay, that's good. I always travel on the company too, right? Free travel.
Yeah. Well, that's where a lot of my travel comes from, work. And every now and then it's leisure, but I feel like even if you're taking leisure, you should find some way to get some work done. So even like if we going to Houston or something, let's go look at some houses. Let's go look at some lots. Let's go, take it. I'm paying attention to how business is functioning.
So how long did you stay in the corporate world?
I would say probably about good 6 years. I got a little tired of it. It was around the Trayvon Martin time. And it was around the Philando Castile time, and it was just a lot of, I would say, racial animus and the political climate around that time. And there was a lot of things. So, long story short, because I was also teaching. So I was teaching at that time. Yeah, I used to teach college business.
I'm finding something new every time.
That was the job right before I left. I was actually tenure tracked. Just to throw that in there, I should have thought about it. But I wanted to be around my family.
Okay.
And I pretty much got tired of working for anybody else. And I said, you know what, I'm not going to work for anybody else. So I packed my life in the back of a Penske truck and drove across to Philadelphia and started a shop 3 months after I got back home.
Okay. And you had already had, I guess, what do you call it, your barber's license? Or
yeah, I had already been cutting for 12 years by then.
You had already gotten that sometime between teaching, corporate manager, schooling, MBA, plumbing, engineering, all that stuff.
Electrical.
Yeah. So look, so when you started the shop now, you said you had started it in a place called Willow Grove first, right?
Yes, Willow Grove. It's in the great area.
Pennsylvania?
Say that one more time.
That's in Pennsylvania?
Yes, Willow Grove is a suburb right outside of Philadelphia. You can probably throw a rock and hit it.
Okay. So how long did you stay in Willow Grove before moving to Hatboro?
2 years. So we ran Willow Grove 2 years, and that was actually during the COVID time. So That was during COVID, 2020, 2019. Yeah, so those were those times, which was great times, by the way, also. So.
Okay, so 2 years, and then you moved to Hatboro. And I think you said what you guys wanted to move to cut costs.
We did, and especially during COVID, there was a lot of uncertainty with the building. So I don't really want to go into too much, but so it was a big leasing company. They ended up filing for bankruptcy, and again, COVID was like the Wild West when it came to business because people were just moving in any direction that they can. Bankruptcies were piling up. If you remember, I believe the Gap, they filed bankruptcy. They owed the leasing company $66 million, and the leasing company itself filed bankruptcy. So we never did. But I had my real estate agent search for other locations in the area so our customers wouldn't be affected, and but close enough to where our employees aren't aggrieved. Okay.
So Hatboro. So when you moved to Hatboro, what was the climate like? Because if I'm not mistaken, there's a majority percentage of what we call Caucasian people, and a very, very, very small percentage of what we call Black people in that area.
Yes, 91%. 91% white was the demographic data according to the Census Bureau before I officially signed the contract. But that didn't really matter to me because if you remember in the military and in Seattle, Washington, and then Washington State, and then in school, I've always after initially leaving the city, I've been around so many different cultures, so many different diversities. I've been in multiple countries: India, Africa, Turkey, Germany, London, Europe. So I mean, diversity doesn't bother me. So I saw it, but instead of me seeing it as a deterrent, I looked at it as an opportunity. Because anytime you have the chance to be different, you should be different. You should be different. So I didn't bother it, but the further we got along in the negotiations and the more firsthand research I was doing, I started to notice a few things. There were a lot of conservative support. So there was a lot of Trump flags, a lot of MAGA flags, driving into Hatboro on it's like that main drag of York. There was a property there that purchased a sprawling sign. I mean, this sign was huge. Like you can see it from Mars. and it was Trump 2020.
Yeah.
So that kind of was like the vibe that I got. But in a couple places I've gone, there were some great people, really inviting, really welcoming. Hey, we're glad you're here. Like when I signed up for the license, the woman in the county office asked if I wanted to meet the mayor. So it's a small, quaint town. Like you don't really go in terms of paperwork and expect to meet the mayor. Like that would never happen.
Did you meet him?
No, I didn't take the time to do that.
Okay. You were trying to get your fast break, right? So when you get the Hatboro, you open up the shop, Razor Reese's, right? And so, how was business? How did business? Did you kind of get the same business that you were expected, or same business that you were used to in Willow Grove, or more? Like, how was the comparison between what you thought you was going to get and what you got and what you've been doing?
Well, business was good because, mind you, we was around for years after that. So not only did we have current clients that came over, because again, Hatboro that's another Hatboro in Willow Grove is another place you can throw a rock at. Okay. So my clients came right over. Maybe lost one or two, who knows? For what reasons, but. And then we got new customers. It actually, again, we cut the profit margin just by the sheer move 60%. So it was just the benefits was immediate. It was immediate, and it felt really good. See, there's a difference. So sometimes, like in business, I was also a business consultant. So I did consulting work for businesses when I was in college and on my spare time in between working and college and cutting it. There's differences in operating under a leasing company and a private owner. Now, both have benefits. There's pros and cons to each. So what I would say is I liked some of the pros that I got from the private owner, and I also like the pros from the other owner. But to answer the question, business is good. Business is always going to be good if you're good. If you have a good product and people can afford it and you stay consistent, you're gonna have good business.
Okay, so now let's get to it, because the source of your business was also the source of your problem, so to speak. So, with all due respect, to the gentleman who lost his life, we're going to try to talk about this situation with as much respect as possible, but we also want to be as truthful as possible. So, Stephen Strasburg, he's the gentleman. And I don't know if you watched that article that I put up, but it was like, you guys have had problems for years. One more question. Did you know those neighbors that were in the news article from, the news video that explained the first incident? Did you know those guys? I think there was a tattoo guy and a spa owner or something. Did you know those?
Again, we're talking about Hatboro. So let's.
Right,
so
okay.
I know it's a simple question, but we're talking about a place where you go into their city hall and they say, "Would you like to meet the mayor?"
Okay.
So it's a very small environment.
You knew those guys. You knew the tattoo guy that came out and was like, I had a whole lot of stuff in there. And the girl who was like, okay. So everybody. Yeah, so did you get along with the majority of, your neighbors, your business conglomerates in the area?
Yes.
Okay.
And mind you, I'm the only black man outside of the guy who owns the smoke shop on that entire strip that owns the business. Mm-hmm. So you have to be congenial. You have to make alliances. So I knew who both of them was, but everybody see each other. It's like a passing thing. Like I saw him when he first opened his shop. I can say this because this is public knowledge. And, I saw him when he opened the shop, and I congratulated him. We had a conversation, but it's not like a thing like we, go see each other every day. But it's, they know you there, and they're there.
Okay. So, to put things in perspective, Strasburg actually stayed at an apartment above your barbershop that you leave. All right. So I guess, I'm gonna let you get the floor with this, and you can explain the situation however it went. Like, when did the problems start? How did the problems, continue, and what led, what brought it to the point that it got to with the gentleman?
Well, I'm not at liberty to get into too many specifics because of current litigation, but
Yes.
It's just I would say it just began around 2021. It was hard to explain. It's not something that I ever went and looked for. It's not something that I ever pursued. It's just one day you come into work and something happened to you, and then the next day or another time you work, something happened to you. So, I just, I dealt with it. I just kind of dealt with it because it's like, all right, it's at a level where it's not, I can tolerate. You in the military, you have people yelling and screaming things in your face all the time, and you learn how to maintain your bearings. You learn how to deal with it, and plus, so I just, understanding what I was, what I represented, and really being emotionally intelligent. I just kept working, kept grinding, kept working in my business because what developing and running a business is very time consuming and it takes a lot of effort. And quite frankly, you don't have time to think about everything else that's kind of going on or something that doesn't involve your business. I never understood what it was, obviously towards the end, and in hindsight, I can kind of get some examples of what maybe could have caused something like that to happen. But it's just
This is public knowledge. Once again, I don't know how much you can expound, because one article I read said that you guys often argued over a parking space. That was one article that was in there. So. So that's the one thing I saw with some of the articles in the media, like the facts wasn't there. Okay.
So it's like, it's almost like they're going off of someone else who didn't have all the facts there.
Okay.
And then that's what they put out, if that makes sense.
So
the whole parking spot thing now, obviously there's moments or there's things that may have occurred, but this wasn't like these two guys went back and forth over a parking space. No, it wasn't. That's not what happened. It's more like, honestly, one person has a problem with another person.
Okay.
And who's going to resolve this thing?
Yeah.
And one person is trying to resolve it and one person is not.
Okay, that's a good explanation. So when I guess when it happened, you talked about how the news put out things. Did anybody ever come to interview you, or anybody ever come to get your side of the story? I know you were. So when the incident happened in the article, the news clip I played kind of explained what happened. So you don't have to go into that. So that day, was that day the day that they arrested and charged you with the charges that you mentioned earlier?
Yes.
Right there.
Definitely.
So
right on the spot.
Even though
I didn't know I was arrested, but I was placed in handcuffs and taken down to the police department.
So they didn't arrest you then because you called them and you told them what was going on. And so when they took you to the police department, then they let you out? Did they let you out, or did they keep you until March to whatever that day was?
They kept me to the day I called you. Yeah, they didn't let me go home. I thought I was going home, but that's not how that works in that situation.
All right, so in that situation, once again, the article and previous videos, that I put out explained, the stand your ground law, the circumstances around the from what I know from around the event. So being that, many people felt that watched this broadcast that you had the right to stand your ground. Now, when they tell you you're going to be charged, what goes through your mind?
That's a good question. That's a very good question. I'm glad you asked it. It was just, I guess, I didn't know I was going to be charged until I was transferred to the prison facility. I was told that there was conversations going on and that I may be charged, and they're going to go through this ranking file of the charges that I could potentially be charged with. I thought I was just shocked at the whole thing because I couldn't see this no other way than what happened. So I'm thinking, okay, they're going to come with something, and obviously it should, if anything, it should be something fightable. It should be something where I'll be able to. The problem I was thinking is getting bail, and how much is bail going to be, and where are we going to take this cash from to get the bail. So they didn't tell me what I was charged with at all until I got to the jail, and not trying to snitch or anything, but somehow I got some of the information before I got out the car of what I was charged with. And at that point, it was a disappointment in society. It was a frustration with, just the system in general and how they treat things and how things appear, when things happen. But, and I was given the affidavit. I read the affidavit, and I still couldn't understand why I was in there. And so then I'm just being ordered around and given commands and take this off and put this on and come this way. Hey, walk this way. Hey, get on there. Hey, put your face here. Put your arm there. Put your finger there. Go talk to that person. Now you need to go give all your information to that person. And, well, who is this person? Go.
So was there numbness though? Because I'm putting myself in your position because mind you, I've been in a situation where I've been charged with something that's no bail, never getting out of jail, and I'm right. I'm just numb. Like I'm just like all right. So, but you always kept your wits about you. You kind of never.
Yeah, I mean, again, like I thought I was never coming home the first time we went to Afghanistan. So
okay. So you got a different level. You got a different level.
Yeah. So you kind of understand that there's light at the end of the tunnel, but I did feel like these people. One of the things I was thinking is just these people are trying to take my life away.
Yeah.
And it was just like I was just flabbergasted. I was in shock. I was appalled by the decision to charge all the way up that ladder. Like I'm not an attorney. I'm not a police officer. I'm not a district attorney, but all the way up there, from everything up to and including first-degree murder, with those facts, I was appalled by that, and I was hurt, and it was some time I would say, because you don't know, they hit you with murder 1 and murder 3, you thinking that's it, it's over, you're 40, you're over 40,
yeah.
I believe it was Nas who said a line in one of his songs where he said, "You go to jail when you're young, you come back home 40, you can basically make yourself into a upstanding citizen. You go to jail when you're 40, you're done."
Oh yeah,
you're not done. You're not done because you're never done until you're done. But the goals and aspirations and everything that I thought I was planning towards or trying to work towards was gone. And that thought that all of that was gone is what troubled me the most. Not just so much of being in there, because I know what happened. I was there. So no way.
So when you get in there, right, mind you, like, you've never been in, any kind of serious trouble, right? And, y'all hear the brother speaking, very intelligent, very, calm, seems like, just a straight up all-American guy. Now, when you get into there, with I guess the hardened criminals, the creme de la creme of the criminal world, because like I want so because I've been in, my charge was very serious, so they put me with everybody who I was on in the floor with had very serious charges. Some of the guys had already got 45 years, they just waiting to go to prison. Some of them got 2 bodies they fighting. Some of them got 35 years, they're just waiting to get shipped out. So
that's where I was. And actually, thank you for putting me there, because those people have real issues that they're fighting. It's actually a lot calmer than the people who got 6 months and still trying to keep their street persona going.
Okay.
Not knocking them either. Not knocking them either, because things do happen in both locations. But to be honest, I get it. It is jail and it's prison, and I'm gonna be the last person that's going to downplay or glorify prison. But let's just think about for a minute, what exactly does it mean being in prison? What exactly are we experiencing? So we're experiencing the loss of freedom, which is one, right? So you can't move how you want to move. You can't go where you want to go, when you want to go, how you want to get there, right? You're also away. There's a distance there because you're away from your family. So now you're away from your family. You lost your freedom, and you're away from your family. And there were a lot of people around that I may not have ever gotten along with or found myself getting along with, because those are strangers. These are people that I don't know. And this is a community that I don't know. So we have to learn the norms on how to get along together and how to work together. It is just the danger level is higher. You don't know what these brothers do. These brothers don't have nothing holding them back. Mm-hmm. So you kind of have to be a people person.
How long did it take you to kind of adjust, learn how to navigate, learn the nuances of, that new environment?
The minute I got there.
Okay.
Like I said, God is good, man. God put me in a place where the people wasn't that bad. I mean, and that I can handle. Like, he was a cool dude in there. He kind of showed me the ropes in there on what to do, how to do it. They seen me, and I mean, I'm a grown man. So I mean, it depends on how you carry yourself. You carry yourself like a grown man, they're gonna look at you like you a grown man. And I'm in my 40s, so it's like, like
you ain't coming on that young boss.
Yeah, nah.
Big Maurice.
Yeah. This my block.
Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So that's what you learn. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, I've been some places, in various places. When you just go in there, you mind your business, because nobody wants to be there, no matter how. You know what I'm saying?
And that's really the problem.
Yeah, nobody wants to be there, man. Don't come messing with me, man. I ain't gonna mess with you, man.
Yeah, I don't care what you're doing over there.
Yeah.
No, you can take that. No, thank you. Yeah, no, I'm good.
So
You just mind your business. If you all up in people's business and people see the problem is irritations that you can't.
Yeah.
People, it's an environment designed to irritate you, and if you succumb to that, you find yourself in a situation that it's hard to get out of.
Yeah, okay, yeah, you're right, because it's hard to find peace, like, because it's always somebody. You know what I'm saying? It's always somebody here, somebody here, somebody
That's
here.
what you lose.
Yeah. But if you're smart like that, I always tell people sometimes too, like, sadly, some of the most peaceful, introspective time I've ever had was when I was incarcerated. When I would just, and no matter, like I said, it could be a fight going on, but I'm at peace. I'm at peace. You know what I'm saying? Because those are times that I developed my relationship with God more. You know what I'm saying? So
yes.
I know that, and like I said, like in my situation, like that was the only person I could turn to. Like, that was the only person who I would trust to depend on and get me out of that situation. So your I guess your time spent there. What did you spend most of your time doing?
Working out, reading, working on my case. Like it's the law library every day. They only gave us 4 hours a day. So I used all of those hours. I probably missed a day or two or a week or two over the period of 10 months. But and then I guess once, that's a place where, jail and prison is a place where people end up for a variety of reasons. It's not just violent crimes. It's not just white collar crimes or forgery crimes. It's a lack of a lot of different things that has scaffolded over the years. A lot of these, brothers, they've been in and out. So when they see you and they see how you carry yourself, they start coming to you for different things and for different help or whatever. So I was helping people with their case. I was helping them read their paperwork, going through some of the paperwork. I mean, my brothers with 60 counts, 50 counts. Dudes facing, I was on a bus with somebody that came back to court. They gave the young boy 50 to 100 years. So I was spending my time with that. I ran Bible studies on the block. So we had them twice a week, Wednesdays and Sundays. And just, in the beginning I was watching movies, but I don't spend money on that. That was a lot of money. Every now and then I might play some cards or play some chess with somebody, but even that, you put yourself in situations. You know what I'm saying? No.
Especially if they think they good.
Yeah.
Knocking them off and somebody watching. Oh man, he killing you. He killing you. And then they lose. You got somebody. You know what I'm saying?
It can happen that way. And then even if you don't want to, because you in an area with just these people all the time. Now, the way I hear it, and I don't ever want to see it. Upstate is a bit different because it's the block is like a city block, so you don't have to be around the same people all the time.
And you get outside. See, I assume you was in jail awaiting trial, so you can't go outside. There's no outside rec. You got to breathe the same.
1 hour a day.
Oh, but y'all went to go outside?
Well, there's an outside little concrete enclosure.
Okay.
Where we go out there and the guys play handball out there. Me, I just worked out. But sometimes I go out there by myself. You got to be on a mission to survive something like that. You have to be on a mission and you have to stay locked in.
So what types of things were you looking for in the library, or were you learning, or were you, searching for, studying in regards to your case?
Well, that's a very good question. Really, you use your keywords. You use facts from your case, and you plug them into the law library, and thousands of cases come up, and you read through those cases, and you read through the cases, and you can see similarities, and then those similarities there. You can find out what they call. They got links somewhere else. You go to see those links, then you learn that there. And then on the other hand, I just opened up the entire criminal law desktop is what it's called. It's a legal book, criminal law desktop, and it has everything in there, including criminal defense techniques. So I just started at page 1 and just kept going, and then it got fun. And I think once. And then I started knowing what I was talking about. And people was telling me stuff, and I would give them a question to ask their attorney. And then he's like, "Oh, no, he said that was a great idea." And I'm sitting here like, "You see that? Been on the law library 2 minutes."
Yeah, exactly. You know what I'm saying? And that's funny, right? Because people don't know the power they have to take control of, because most of the time the court-appointed attorneys, they're only looking at your case the morning that your case is called. You know, I'm gonna just be honest. You know, man.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like they're like, "Oh, okay. Well, he got this, he got that. Let's see what I can do to police." When really, if he did his work, he can do the same. He can point out this case, this case, that. But they don't get paid enough to do that, and they got.
And that's why you have to be your own advocate. And I'm trying to show brothers, and I'm just like, listen. Instead of me doing this for you, let me show you how to get on the law library. Where's your tablet? All right, so plug this in. I was doing that too. And plus you got to be careful, because I'm not an attorney, number one. So you don't want to go telling people you can beat this and then they go to trial and get 30 years, right? Or you know what I'm saying? Giving people more advice to what you qualified to give them, because that'll cause problems too. You know what I'm saying? And just essentially just helping them wherever I can with basic stuff. If it's something I tell them, all right, give me the list. It got to the point they just started knocking on my door, Mr. Byrd. They call me Mr. Byrd, and some of the CEOs call me. So, knocked on the door, and he was just like, and he just told me about his story. And he was like, "Yo, this happened and that happened, and I think I can probably get away with this type of defense." And then I'm just looking at it, and I'm just looking. Okay, they charge you with this because of that. Really? But they did it. Yeah. Well, no, because if you look here, and then there's none the other. All right, give me a second. I'm gonna write some stuff down for you. Give you 1 page. Well, how much you want for it? How much? I give you 5 suits for it. You know what I'm saying? I'm just like, let me do this for you first, and we'll see where you at. Got other questions come to me.
All right. So with your own case, how was your attorney situation? Because I know you had a couple of hiccups with that. So explain the effectiveness, the ineffectiveness, or the collaboration with your attorneys during this place.
Well, first, I'm home, so I can't really say anybody was ineffective. And I wasn't allowed to speak once. So, so they definitely was effective in their ways. But when I first got arrested, I was in the Montgomery prison, and you go to your arraignment. Nowadays, the arraignment is online, and unless you're a Weinstein boy, and you already got your lawyer at the jail before you even get there, you're appointed a public defender. So, and she said, I'm going to, because you got to turn in all your paperwork. So here's another mark from God. You got to turn in all your paperwork. And so she says, I'm going to represent you for this hearing. This is just a reading of the charges. But, going through this affidavit, Mr. Byrd, this just screams a provocation. So you're free to do whatever you want, but we're going to take this on for you. We'll just keep this here as a backup for you, because there's a lot going on in here. And then, and so she represented me, and it's like, okay. And they put me, I'm in medical. So I'm no sheets, no socks, no undershirt, no clothes. Just a blanket in the dirtiest cell I ever seen for like 4 days. You don't get nothing. 4 or 5 days, you're in medical. So that's like under supervision, strict supervision. It's a nightmare. Yeah. So basically the turtle suit. So then this lawyer came, the public defender, and he was just really aggressive. And because we know about the myths. I'm gonna say myths about public defenders. I'm gonna say myths because I might end up being one day.
Okay.
So I'm not gonna go too hard on them. I'll just say sometimes when you're dealing with a whole lot of cases and that strict schedule, it's overwhelming even for them. So, but there are some great ones, and he was one of them. This guy was one of them, and he was just really aggressive. He was just angry, and like he was more upset than I was. Like he was pacing, biting his nails. He was just like, "This is an outrage."
You come out the guy that I showed on the picture?
No, the first one,
Okay.
and he was like, "This is the chief homicide boy of the whole county," and he came to see me, and it was just he was outraged, and he was like, "You shouldn't be in here. This is bull crap. They done did all of this research. They done went and talked to a whole bunch of people. They done went and did things that was like wow, like y'all really want it." And it's like he just really believed in the case. So I'm like, should we go with a public defender? Like this is a capital murder case. Like you gonna play with your life like that? Then and mind you, I ain't talked to no family or nothing like that yet. But I liked him. And I was like, he seemed pretty cool. Let's just see what's going on once we get to the arraignment, and then we'll go from there. Long story shorter, we kept him. We liked him. I liked how he argued, but they kept the charges up. A lot of people was disappointed. I already knew that they were going to
what, like the preliminary hearing, right?
The preliminary hearing. So a lot of people thought they was going to drop the charges. I thought it was a chance that they could, and I thought that they should, but I knew that they weren't. My attorneys told me that they wasn't going to.
Yeah.
And
for people who don't understand what preliminary hearing is, like when you have serious charges, a preliminary hearing is where you go before the judge, the prosecutor presents the evidence that they have against you and why you should go to trial. And your defense, hopefully they'll present the evidence on your behalf to say, well, no, these charges shouldn't be on him regardless. Then the judge makes this decision. All right, yeah, we're going to set this for trial or we're going to dismiss the charge. So that is what a preliminary hearing is. So that's why he's saying they was hoping they would be dropped at preliminary, but they wouldn't. And because probably, how much do you think politics had to do with your case?
Well, politics, sometimes. So I'd say it could have had some influence on the decision there. I don't want to stray too far down into the line of something I can't prove.
Okay.
But, sometimes you feel in your heart a certain way that something is happening to you, and it might actually really be happening to you. But what I can say is that part of the thing about a preliminary hearing is the purpose of a preliminary hearing. So the purpose of a preliminary hearing is essentially the sufficiency of the evidence. So the prosecution basically has to prove that these charges that it is sufficient to charge you with these charges. And so it's not like a reasonable doubt thing. And even if it is a tie, the judge is supposed to give it to the prosecutor at a 51-49% view rate. So even if it's like a thing where it's like, I don't know what she did do. I don't know. Should the charges stick? Should it not? When it's ever a situation like that, he's supposed to go with the prosecutor. So like reasonable doubt is different. Like just to kind of clarify this, sufficiency is, let's just say there's a bus that comes on the corner in the morning and we think is at 10 o'clock. There's only one bus that comes to that corner, right? So sufficiency of the evidence is daylight and the bus is coming. It should be 10 o'clock. That is sufficient evidence.
Sufficient. Okay.
to say that.
So that's real
it has to be
easy.
10 o'clock.
Yeah, that's real
It's
easy.
real easy.
Yeah, it's real easy. Yeah, I like that. I like that analogy. So yeah, and that's what I'm saying. Like you just imagine if things would have went another way in a guy of your magnitude, of your smarts, of your ability to articulate situations just like that, put it in layman's terms, would have been somewhere helping some guys, and which is probably, I mean, I'm not going to say that would have been a good thing, but
I would have been doing something else. Yes,
it wouldn't have been the best thing for you, in your life to reach your full potential. So
I appreciate
so now the charges are solidified. You get the trial date. Were there any delays in trial? Were there any consequences?
Yeah, so there was a delay in trial. We was getting ready for the trial. We gathered evidence, and my lawyer was upset that the charges kept stuck or whatever, and we had like a lot of evidence to show that, hey, this guy shouldn't even be charged at all. So that attorney, I liked him because he was like, he shouldn't have been charged at all. Like, so, and I'm still learning the law at this moment. But every meeting that we come to, I have a pad full of stuff. I found this case. But so something happened. I don't know what happened. All I know is that two new people showed up. Well, first the investigator, something happened with the investigator. So he was no longer on the case, and I kind of liked him.
Okay.
So the investigator was off the case, and they brought me a new investigator, and I was like, wow. So I got this happening, that happening, and I'm not gonna go into everything. So great
okay.
guy. But
you talk about the main thing that
the main thing was the investigator, and then they brought me a new lead attorney, and I'm like, all right, because they're telling me how great this attorney is, and it's just like how great he is. He's amazing, and he's smart, and sharp, and this and that. And I'm like, okay, yeah, we need 3 people on the team, yeah. And then it's just like, where my man at? And then it was like, yeah, he's no longer with us, and it was like my heart dropped, and it felt like, yo, this is not a jaywalking case. We need some continuity. Like this, like what? I know you're not telling me that. Like, are you serious? Like, and it was like, yeah, we're serious, but no, we're gonna do our best. And then, hey, man, I wanted to walk right out, but I didn't. I maintained. All right, let me just listen, and then ultimately, I was feeling bad. That was probably the darkest days in there. And then next thing you know, the fired attorney, I didn't know you got fired, but he came back and he was just like, yeah, on a Sunday. And he was like, what, you think I was going to leave you here, Mr. Byrd? No. And because I was even talking to my friends, like, man, we might want to find him and try to hire him privately. And then he was like, what, you thought I was going to leave you here? No, we're not doing that. And then he said, basically, he came back, and I was like, all right, cool, you hired. And I made the phone call, and then we ponied up about 20 grand, and we had an attorney, and then this other young attorney, he was like, I'm coming on your case for free. I'm doing this pro bono.
Wow.
You know what I mean? And he get the experience too. And it was like, okay, so we got 2 new dudes, and I got this other guy, and we're gonna need this and that, and I got him, and everything. We're gonna beat them. And then he's like, I'm in the best position to win this case. So I'm like, all right, let's do it. You hired. So we got him the money, and then one day the young guy shows up. And then he's because mind you, they don't tell you when you're getting these. This is the PD's office, so it ain't like your real lawyer. Yo, I'm gonna be up there on Thursday the 17th. No, they just come when they come, and they just tell you to tell them go see. So young guy comes to me. I'm like, okay, yeah, because I've been waiting to see him because I got new information. I got these new cases, and I'm about to turn it over, and he's just like, Mr. Lyons is dead. And I'm like,
Well, hold on.
Yeah.
You said you would wait a minute. It gave us a glitch real quick. We'll edit it out. You said where's he at? Because you've been waiting to see him. That's the last thing I heard.
Yeah, I've been waiting to see him because I got these new cases that I found. I got these new laws. I've been studying all night and all day. I've been thinking about this every minute. And then he goes, yeah, he's dead. And I said, who's dead? And then he told me, and it's just like, and then that is the moment where my head sunk, and it was just like, yo, I can't win for losing.
He said like he's dead. Like he didn't say I got some bad news for you. Well, he just basically said it like that. He's dead.
Maybe that's what he practiced. Yeah. I don't know, but it ain't going. It ain't. Yeah. No, he did do that. He did do that, but I'm just. Maybe he practiced that, and maybe he thought that like that was, that was like his.
I'm not laughing at the lawyer. Please don't think I'm just saying.
I'm not neither. But it's like the way he told me, it was like real curt and real real brief.
Yeah.
Like,
now what are we going to do? So did you say that? Did you that was okay? Now what? You know what I'm saying?
No, I couldn't. He just went right there. He just went right for it. He said it. He was like, okay, yeah, but I'm still here and I'm going to still work on this thing. And I'm still trying to process, A, the man died, and B, we just gave this boy 20. Where's the money? So, so we got that. And what do you mean? Like, what are we going to do? And trial is 2 months away.
Yeah. And was he there the whole while though? Was the other guy there the whole while?
No, he was only there I saw him twice. He just came on.
So now did y'all have to get a continuance?
He was sharp though. Yeah. So then he was telling me about the continuance, and he was saying it couldn't.
Did you ever study the speedy trial law in that state? So what?
The Rule 600, right?
Yeah, what were the conditions of your right to a speedy trial?
I'm not going to say anything I don't know, but I know that I didn't waive it, and they would probably have to create. If it was, I don't know for sure, so I'm not even going to say that, but I would imagine that you would probably have to sign some sort of document in front of the judge in order to waive that right, if it is even waivable. So. So I'm pretty sure it is, because it's people that's been in jail 3 years and have. Yeah,
so that's I want to point this out to people. You might want to learn that, because when I was in jail in Virginia with no bond, this only applies pretty much to people with no bond. I've seen people, once again, that stay in jail for 3 years, and they putting their case off to get all the evidence, so just keep you 3 years, so hopefully you'll plead, right? So. In Virginia, they had 150 days to bring me to trial if I didn't have a bond. And the only way that was negated if I, the defendant, agreed to a continuance. And that's what my court-appointed lawyer tried to do one time. I was like, no, I want a speedy trial. They got 150 days to try me. And if not, they got to let me out. So I want, that's a very important thing, because a lot of times, once again, if you're facing a major charge like that with no bond, now once again, you gotta see the laws of your particular state. They don't have enough time to put together a nice case, or to get all the way. So your best bet is I want a speedy trial, pick 12. You know what I mean? And then of course they're gonna probably give you the best plea ever right before the trial. Now, did they? Okay, yeah. Let's get to that point, right? You wait. You lost your lawyer. You out 20 grand. You got this new jack who's pretty sharp. What was the trial like? I think didn't you say they offered you a plea?
Yeah. So the plea was 6 to 12. I believe it was 12, but I heard 6 years. So I heard that there was a plea before, but the first attorney apparently, I'm not sure what it was, but actually the day that we got the continuance, the young lawyer who was on for free, he's the one who brought me the deal, And he said that like they just texted him, was like it's unofficial, but 6 years. So that was I know everybody's face does that when I tell them that the deal was 6 years. It's funny. I talked to somebody when I was in.
I mean, so 6 years, like, because I knew I knew some guys who would jump, who have jumped on that but of course their situation was different, right? You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. But then again, because we're trained to say, okay, well, they could have gave me 25, so 6 is the deal. You know what I'm saying? But in your case,
you think so? Maybe.
Huh?
Say it again. Maybe it could be a deal, depending on. So this is one thing, because it's interesting. Because I talked to somebody when I was in there, and I told them the deal, and then she was like, "What?" Because mind you, everybody saw was this. Because I wasn't all on the phone talking about it. All everyone saw is this twisted narrative that was created by the media. So all they saw is this hideous picture and this story that looks like someone did something insane over a word.
That's the first thing that and shout out to say Susan, right?
Yes.
Susan? Shout out to Susan. Susan is the one that reached out to me right before the trial and told me about my brother and said there was no coverage about it. I haven't heard. She had just ran across my video or something and hadn't heard it or whatever. And she was like, yo, something is wrong. Like, we got to get this out. Like, she started sending me stuff. And so shout out to her. And but one thing that she said, that he was like that picture, and then one of the pictures he did not like that picture.
I'm
going to get another picture to do another video. I'm gonna get. I said,
good looking. Thank you for that.
But the picture. Because, now, when did they take that picture? They probably took that picture after you've been sitting in a holding cell for 10 days, 2 days, and you know what I'm saying? They got you all just shoveled and look like you don't look like.
Looking crazy.
You look crazy. Like if I didn't know you, like I was like, yeah, he's smoking. You know what I mean? Like, they look that bad, but I mean, smokers who look better, but you know what I'm saying?
I was get that. Wow, that wasn't that bad. I know it was bad though.
I said, if I didn't know you, like because
well, I didn't necessarily take a photo shoot. I ain't necessarily take a photo shoot.
Yeah. But shout out to Susan. I gotta call her too, man. Just check on her. Cause she was very adamant about, I gotta call the news and everything. So
yes, thank you, Susie.
Yeah. So all right. So where was we at? Because that was funny. Where was we at? With the okay, so let's go ahead and get to the tracker. Because really, we got like 20 minutes. We don't want to keep the people too long. We got about 20 minutes. Okay. But we gonna definitely do it again, man. Because it's like, this is dope. So so with the trial, right? Like, so you reject all pleas. You reject. You tell them you ain't. If they give me 6 months, I ain't taking it.
Well, there was the first lawyer, one of the things he said, this was early on, he said, even if they offer a deal, because, the first thing I was talking about is, I'm thinking, I'm watching movies and TV. I'm like, where's the deal at? And they ain't offer none at first. and then he goes, well, even if they did, I'm not taking it. And then I'm sitting here thinking like, yo, you ain't got to do the deal with these gorillas. But, and it was sometimes where I was thinking about the deal and I was talking to him and it was like, no. And I was like, but what would it look like for Murder 3? They're like, no. So like they were adamant, and at times they were more adamant than me. And then I just kept praying, and then and my parents, it was like, yo, like medicine. And then it's like having faith. So it's like, this is where faith really is. Yeah. It's not in the moments of the sun. Yeah. It's in the moments of the rain and the pain. Are you That's really what faith is. Have faith and just walk on faith. But at the end of the day, I felt like they offered 6 years for a reason. They didn't do it because it was my birthday or because that the attorney died. They didn't do that for a reason. They did that for a reason. I felt like it was a calculated reason. And so, not to get in all of the intricacies of it, we got to leave something for the book.
Okay, yeah.
But I think that it was just faith, and I just knew what it was. I was there. I know what it was. I'm looking at the case every single day. Even the old lawyer, he was like, "Yeah, this is your case. I respect it," and he know what it is. Even then, he was talking about working and jobs. He was like, "You can come with us. You can do research for us. We'll hire you to do research." Mm-hmm. So I'm like, man. So him and I really had a good relationship. We built a relationship before we had to switch out. But other than that, I just try to be as active as I could in my case. That's what it takes, really, because they just human beings.
Yeah. So now it's time for the trial. You got the voir dire, as they call it. If I'm saying it right, the voir dire. The voir dire is when both attorneys, the prosecutor and the defense attorney, question all of the prospective jurors on whether they feel that they will be a good juror for this case. And so I went through that. Was there anybody in the jury that was like, nah, I can't, you know what I'm saying? I got a bias, or,
There was a lot of people.
Everybody.
We started out with 90 people. We started out with 90 people, and one of the first questions is there anybody who feel as though for any reason they couldn't be impartial in this day? And they ask a series of questions, and then hands go up, and slowly but surely, pockets of the room begin to move. And then, you pick out the people that's left, and then it's like, all right, I like this person, or I like this. All right, who's number 76? All right, you can go. It's a really interesting process because you're looking at demographic data and economic data, which is demographic data ultimately. Like, you're looking at are they a male, are they a woman, where do they work, do they have children, do they not have children, are you married to a police officer? What are some of the things that would prevent you from being biased? And one of the questions was, does anyone know either of the participants? And some people put their hand up. I know such and such, or I know such and such, and know such and such. And I was one of his customers. Good luck.
Was that an immediate dismissal when they knew you were the person? Okay.
Yeah. It's immediate.
Okay.
They supposed to fill out the form, so they don't even make it up there, but they just pull up batches of people.
When the jury is selected, what the jury look like as far as demographic?
Oh man, did I forget over?
Do you remember?
It was more women than men. I believe the women and men. It was more women than men. The demographics were mostly Caucasian, and we had two blacks and Afro-Latina on the jury. Yeah.
Did you say a half a Latino?
Afro-Latino.
Oh, okay.
Afro.
I was like, what half a Latino? What was that?
I don't know what she prefers. So Latino or
respect to whoever you are. Yeah, we're gonna show you the utmost respect because you didn't vote, you didn't hang the jury or nothing. So when the trial starts, and once again, if you can, elaborate, who were some of the prosecutors' witnesses, if you can say, and who were some of your defense witnesses, and did you get on the stand?
No, I did not take the stand. Actually, my statement was omitted. So the police statement was omitted, and I guess which was a great call by the attorneys. The statement did such a good job at explaining my side of the story and what happened that there was really no need to get on the stand. One of the attorneys, Attorney Schultz, said, because we was going back and forth on whether I should go on the stand, and I said, I'm not afraid. I'll go up there. I'm not afraid of them. God speaks to me. The truth is the truth. You can't.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So, but
they kind of tricky. Them people are tricky.
Yeah, and they asking you a question with another question 10 questions down the line where it's meant to jam you up. So
you just said and then what I'm saying, like, but I didn't mean that. Oh, now you don't mean it. So what do you mean?
Yes.
What are we to believe, Judge? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and next thing you know, you got 25 to life. So you don't want to say the wrong thing, and you may think that you're saying the right thing, but somebody on the jury may not like your mannerism. They might not like something, So you want to shield yourself from exposure as much as possible. So they just felt like the statement did a good job. What more answer do I need to give you?
Yeah.
Any answer I give you is going to be harmful to me.
Yeah.
You can see right there what I'm explaining to you what happened. So.
And that's good to keep you from cross-examination. You know what I'm saying? To keep you from forgetting, to keep you from, misspeaking. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So that's
she
good.
Can say something mad. She can say something about your parents to invoke emotion, and next thing you know, you're an angry black man.
Yeah. Or just keep pressing you, asking you the same question 10 different ways. You know what I'm saying? So the trial lasted. What, 3.5 days or 4? 3.
4 days.
4 days.
4 days. Yeah, it was Thursday, from Monday to Thursday.
So what was your defense? Or did the defense put on a defense?
Yeah.
Like, as far as, like, I guess, for what you can say, like, was there, character witnesses maybe? Or, you know what I'm saying? Like, what was
So there were some witnesses that had some information about some of the dealings between the parties, and there was character, and there was a witness there to discuss character, and so essentially the defense was to really just tell my story, because essentially the prosecution had a lot of narrative and a lot of conjecture. So, like, it's hard to prove a narrative and conjecture. You can put it out. You can put a narrative out into the media and then let public opinion run with something. But in the court of law, when we're talking about reasonable doubt, it's kind of hard to prove conjecture beyond reasonable doubt. So, so even before their side rested, it was kind of already it felt like it was like a foregone conclusion, but you never know. So you still pray and you still maintain your faith. But I would just say the defense was
now
don't fumble. We already won the game. It's like 2 minutes down the line.
Were there any eyewitnesses who testified, or were there eyewitnesses to?
There were eyewitnesses. There were eyewitnesses, and they were called by the prosecution.
Okay, all right, but evidently they didn't damage you. You know what I'm saying? Or they couldn't damage you. Like,
the truth is the truth.
Yeah,
they told the truth.
All right, so in that deliberation room, I think we asked that before, right? You know what I'm saying? The deliberation room. You get the verdict. Well, hold on. First of all, they call you out. Out, and the jury's filing in, and they hand that judge the piece of paper. If you can remember what's going through your mind, when the judge is doing like this, you know what I'm saying? What is going on?
I was looking to see if the judge would give a smile or crack a smile or something like that. And it actually was. It was. I mean, she wasn't angry.
So now
was just like
Okay. You
And
said
then-
okay, don't lose your train of thought. But was the judge like that throughout the trial? Like, was she smiling? Was she convenient? Or
Yeah,
was she hard
yeah.
faced when she
Yeah.
was there? Mr. Byrd, Mr. Byrd, would you know that? Was it like that?
She's a very attractive woman who.
Okay. All right, Judge. What's her name?
Yeah.
Let me look at the Hatboro District 3 judge.
Well, that would be common pleas. Court.
Okay.
But yeah, she was good. You could tell she was fair. It was some rulings that she made, and ultimately,
okay.
I mean, I didn't feel like she was going to roof me, regardless on what it was, But it was just whatever it is, you just gotta face it. It's either the time is now. It is what you can't go back. You can't turn the clocks back, and you know what I'm saying, and not go to work that day or something to that. You know what I'm saying? So you just kind of had to deal with it, and whatever it was, to deal with it. And once that first came, and they added voluntary manslaughter at the end.
Oh, okay.
So
that means well, you can get this charge. If you don't want to convict them for 1, 2, you can give them this one. Okay. So yeah, they tried it. Okay. So look, let me ask you.
They tried it.
Of course, we know he found guilty. We got about 8 minutes. I don't want to keep you too long. So we got about 8 minutes. All right. So one of the things that is in the media right now is the quote unquote stand your ground law. And we see that one of the biggest cases now is the Carmelo Anthony case down in Texas. A white kid, Kason Allison, who unfortunately stabbed a Hispanic kid about 2 years ago. He just was, granted a not guilty plea in circumstances that, some people consider him the aggressor. In your situation, and as I mentioned before, you sent me an article next. I saw that article about the propensity of black men not being able to use the stand your ground law as successfully as other people, and so that was the major. That is always a major thing. We have a guy, Trevor Moses, down there in Louisiana now, who was attacked at a nightclub by a white gentleman. The white gentleman snuck him. He fell on the ground. He got up, and then he went to putting the things on the white gentleman. The white gentleman fell down, hit his head. A week later, he died. They charged him, with murder. So, with that being some part of your case or your defense, what can you say about that, about the disparities, about what is your opinion on what you see in totality regarding that situation, you being someone who's had to go through that?
Well, I don't want to speak too much about these specific issues because I have done zero research. I don't know much about Carmelo Anthony or about this brother in Louisiana. What I can say is I have read, now this is Louisiana, so this is Louisiana law, not Pennsylvania law, but for what I've read and I've studied, that sounds like it could be murder 3, or it could be involuntary manslaughter if there was a charge of anything. Essentially, involuntary manslaughter would be something like this situation where it's like a freak accident, like these two guys are fighting. There is something going on, but the guy suddenly gets punched, falls, hits his head, he's dead, right? He dies a week later. So the thing with that is the fact that there's no intent. You did not intend to murder this guy. You were intent to fight this guy off of you, or you were intent to have just a fist fight. Whereas though murder 3, there's a clear intention, like say this guy attacked this guy, then he went to the car and then used the weapon against him. like when he had the chance to leave, and there's an intent, but it's with malice, but without intent. If that makes a sense. So if he's charged with anything, right? Since there was a mutual combat where this guy died and there's no intent there, I don't think they can. I think it'll be hard to get a murder 3, definitely a murder 1 charge off, but something around the involuntary manslaughter, because he didn't want to do it. Voluntary manslaughter, if he took a gun out and shot him, that's why they said that my case was closest to voluntary manslaughter, because what the accusation is you don't aim a weapon at someone that you don't intend to do damage to. Okay. So with the involuntary, I didn't mean to kill him. It was just a fist fight. Okay. So involuntary involuntary manslaughter in PA can range anywhere from 11 to 23 months. So again, it sucks that situation involves death, but I would have to actually jump into that situation and see some of the details before I can really speak on it.
All right. So, ladies and gentlemen, we have Maurice Byrd here, Maurice Byrd Jr. to be exact, Esquire, MBA. So, because I really appreciate you for taking the time out, to give me your time and your energy with, just sharing a little bit of your story and, just who you are behind the actual incident that has brought you to my platform. So I definitely want to thank you. You guys are going to be seeing a lot more of this brother. We talked that, he is a researcher. Right. So, we got to have some some verified, bona fide information, because y'all know somebody can tell me something and I'm gonna take it as fact. I'm gonna say, yeah, I got a call from Cincinnati and they said the car won't stolen. So the police is lying. I'm just gonna take it. So I need my brother here to kind of keep me, from buying any wooden nickels. So, man, I appreciate you. We definitely going to continue the conversation. Is there anything that you want to let the audience know before you go about anything that you shared or anything, that you wish to share that you haven't?
Well, we have a book coming, so I'm looking forward to that. It's a book, it's an inspirational book, drawn from a lot of my experiences, especially this situation on how I managed and how I got through this rough scenario. And just whatever project you're working on, just stay diligent at it. Stay persistent. You're facing obstacles. They are just that, obstacles, and you can persevere behind it, right? So
definitely.
I think that's it.
We appreciate you, man. We coming back, man. Thank y'all for tuning in as always. The number 919-587-7782. And if I will leave you a scripture, I will leave you with this one tonight. All things work together for the good of those that love God and are called according to his purpose. Yes. So I know my brother is called according to a purpose. He is here for a purpose. And I don't think that it is by happenstance that we've made the connection. And I don't think it's by happenstance that you guys are watching the video today. A lot of people want to know how they support me. You see my Cash App going through 587-7782. You can get my books on TaylorHousePublications.com and stay tuned for his books. He's going to be coming in the near future. We're not going to give you any dates, but the near future. But peace and blessings, my brother. We're going to get up. Thank y'all for watching. Peace and blessings.